Hello guys, this is Arb's Chess. In this video, we're gonna cover about chess strategy, exploiting dark squares. So let's start. Now in this position, as you can see, we call this the fianchetto formation. If black has this pawn structure, okay, and there's a bishop here on g7. Now, as what you've noticed, white has this battery, and why do you think white usually tried to trade this bishop on h6 to g7? Because this g7 bishop protects dark squares. Try to imagine if this bishop is not here, then these are weaknesses. Okay, f6, d6. By the way, how you can identify the weak square? Okay, weak square is a square that cannot be defended by a pawn on the 6th rank or on the 5th rank. For example, this pawn on e6 is not a weak square because there's a pawn on f7 that protects it. What about d6? So this d6 is a weak square, okay, because no other pawn here that defend that square. f6 is also a weak square. h6, and what else? c6 and a6. Okay. Now you would ask, there's a bishop here, okay? Yeah, but once you trade those pieces, then those squares can be exploited by white's pieces. That is why white needs to trade this bishop in order to that weak squares will be visible. Okay, and the good thing about this, if after bishop takes g7, king takes g7, then the queen can penetrate on these weak squares, especially to h6. So the follow-up is queen to h6. The king can move to h8 or g8, right? He can play g8 if he wants. Now, what do you think is the continuation of this position? You can post the video if you want, and you can comment also the suggestion or what do you think. Okay, let's continue. The best move here is to take the knight, right? Since this knight on d5, if we try to repeat, this knight on d5 protects dark squares. Okay. After bishop takes knight, of course, if black would capture this with a pawn, he takes d5, then he has no bad bishop. This is a winning position for white. And you have a knight outpost here, though it can be attacked, but at least that knight is better than a bishop. Okay. Now, you would expect he would capture this with a bishop, right? It's logical, since if we capture with the bishop, this bishop has a good diagonal control. Okay, but at this point, I need you to find the tactics here for white. Look at this. Try to imagine if the queen is not here, then you have this knight f6. Check, attacks the king. King can move to h8, then queen takes h7. That is a checkmate. But there's a queen here that defends this f6. So now we need to use the tactics called deflection. By the way, what is deflection? Deflection is a sacrifice or a tactic, is a tactical weapon that we need to sacrifice a piece in order to remove the defender of that piece or that square. For example, this queen defends f6, so we need to sacrifice a piece. The move is rook to c8. See? If queen takes c8, there is knight f6. And after king h8, that is a checkmate. So this is called deflection. Rook c8 is a deflection tactics. Okay, the queen can be deflected. What if the queen moves to e7? Here you can take the rook, right? And after queen takes, this is force. So the only thing you need to calculate is just to find the forcing moves. Okay. You can even play something like knight f6 also right away. And then if queen takes, again the queen has been deflected. Rook takes e8, and that is a checkmate. So after king g8, mm, he would capture with the pawn, right? And in this position, this is again winning for white. So let's try to go back. After queen h6, black can play king to h8. Now what is the follow-up? The strategy called knight outpost. Knight to e5. Good move. Attacks f7. But before you do this, you need to calculate the possible defenses for black. Okay? So he could play rook e7, rook g8, queen to e7, or queen to f6. So let's start with queen to f6. In this case, there is another strategy that you need to apply in this position. Could you find it? The strategy of seventh rank attack or penetration on the seventh rank. This rook attacks the bishop. It also attacks f7, right? So this is again winning for white. If he blocks with the rook, there's a checkmate here on f8. What if he played queen to e7 instead? What do you think is the follow-up? Okay, so in that case, there's a possible fork here, right? So there's a tactics here. Bishop takes g6. If it takes with the f pawn, then there is knight takes g6. Again, this is winning for white. So we can do the process of elimination. Queen to e7, queen f6 doesn't work. What about rook g8? Okay, rook g8. So now white to play, guys. What is the best move for white? Though you have an active bishop, but this bishop uh, is not very effective here. Okay, so we can take the knight. Now this is the battle between uh, the knight and the bishop. Minor piece, difference of the material. If he would play bishop takes t5, would you find the best move again for white? Again, this strategy or positional strategy is called the seventh rank penetration. Rook c7. Yeah, it's a sacrifice, right? If queen takes here, obviously there's a checkmate here on f8. Okay. Uh, this rook not only attacking a7, but it also attacks f7. So again, this is winning for white. He could play this move, but in that case, then we can play this move. Okay, knight g4. The threat now is knight f6. He cannot push this pawn because of the seventh rank weakness, right? So rook to 7 is an excellent move for white. So it means he can take with the pawn, right? But I think the same thing. We can still play rook to 7 here. So this is winning for white. Now let's try to repeat again. After queen h6, king to h8, and after knight e5, so the best move, the best defense for black is to play rook e7, right? So how will we continue the game? Again, bishop takes d5 works here. He can take with the pawn, he can take with the bishop. Bishop takes d5. So this idea, again, is an improvement of the position. Okay, this type of maneuver is a good technique, especially if you have an open uh, file. Since the queen is putting pressure on the king side, there is a technique called rook left. Rook c3 is an excellent move here for white. So the idea is to swing the rook on h3 to help the queen. Attacks h7, threatening mate. King to g8, then here knight to g4. Obviously the threat is knight f6, right? f5 has been played. Now, knight f6 check. King moves back to h8. So obviously the follow-up is rook to h3. See? Now, white has three attackers on h7. And I think it's very difficult for black to defend it unless he would give up his queen. So that's winning. Or else there is an Arabian mate here where you can sacrifice the queen. For example, if you would play something like queen to c8, then queen takes h7, rook takes h7, rook takes h7. This is a checkmate using the knight and the rook combination. So we call this the Arabian mate, right? So hope you learn from this game. Let's try to do a quick recap on this. So this is the initial position. So you need to visualize, you need to identify how you can exploit the weak dark squares. This bishop in this structure, look at the pawns. The pawns on the light squares. So it means this bishop protecting dark squares. So we need to trade this bishop. That is why, as what you've noticed in Sicilian Dragon and Yugoslav attack, white has this battery and trade this bishop here so that white can penetrate on dark squares. The good thing about this is he has a knight on g4, which helps the queen to attack the king. And this is what happens in the game. So rook e7, bishop takes, rook c3, and now after this, rook h3, and white wins the game. So hope you learn something from this position. Don't forget to subscribe, okay? And have a good day, guys. Thank you.